Like I was saying earlier, when we were talking about artists and NFTs, how currently the way that they are, the way that they're structured is, an artist will create an NFT and they'll sell it on the market, and they'll make the full profit from that first sale. And then every sale afterwards, they typically get some portion of every sale thereafter. So they actually retain almost like a built-in IP right, to those NFTs, so long as those NFTs retain value, of course. Which, who knows what's going to happen after
Right.
this current market cycle in cryptocurrencies. But so that's something that is potentially very beneficial, especially because, artists, as many of us know, or maybe all of us know, they tend to be people that are starving. The trope about the starving artist, the idea that somebody can create some art and actually sell it and make a living off of it is very enticing for a lot of people. And so I think that's a good thing. The ability of people to get greater access to educational materials. Of course, all of us are obviously on some level good with that, because that's what we do, right? We provide legal education to a certain extent to
creation.
Everybody. Exactly. And we do make money off of AdSense and super chats and merch and all that kind of great stuff, which, by the way, guys, buy my merch if you haven't already.
Oh my gosh. Okay. All right. We can do that.
That's a physical, not digital asset.
But I think, obviously there are some major concerns here, because if people are getting all of their education on the metaverse, then all of that can be tracked, and tracked by whom is another question. Same thing goes with people working in the metaverse. They are generating these NFTs and making money that can be translated out into other stable coins, which can be traded out into US dollars.
Not necessarily, though.
Potentially.
They could completely shut it down, like some other chains do, and some other projects have done. They completely keep it internal. You have to actually build a bridge.
But the idea that somebody's going to be actually working in the metaverse as an employee, like within the metaverse, to be creating these NFTs, though, that would need to be supporting. But that would need to be supporting. Hold on. Let me finish. That would need to be supporting, their life outside of the metaverse, right? Like their actual physical needs, their shelter, their food, all the healthcare, that kind of stuff. So there would need to be some level of transferability into the real world of that currency in order for that to work. Because otherwise, who would be spending all of their time on that if they aren't able to actually monetize to a certain extent?
People already do that. That's what I brought up EVE Online. That game is completely one way. Look it up. Billions of dollars are spent on this game, right? Already billions of dollars, right? Okay. That's not me making this up. This has been going on for decades. People put the money in. You cannot pull it out legally. There's shady ways that people have tried to don't do it, right? But people have funneled massive amounts of money into projects when they can't pull it out, right? And especially with Facebook knowing that they can control so much, and going back to Kurt, it's something that's easy for people to understand. It's the company town model, where you're paying it in for company bucks at the company store. It's all Disney bucks. It goes all back towards Mickey, right? Which is precisely what we need to be concerned about.
One of the many.
Yeah, possibly. So this is an interesting question. Have you read or seen a single thing about social media being positive for humans? No. So why is there even a shed of optimism for something like this? I mean, I personally would say that there are still benefits to social media, right? Otherwise, we wouldn't be doing this right now.
Yeah, I don't know that my channel would exist without some of my social media interactions. So I mean, it depends on whether you find value in that or not, I suppose.
YouTube also counts as social media, right? We're all interacting through this platform. So that technically is a form of social media. And it for me personally, being someone that is living overseas as, part of the mill spouse life, it's also a way for me to be interacting with friends and family from back home. There are obviously benefits, but there are obviously drawbacks as well. So here's another. Hey, I got a question. What the F is an NFT? Like beyond non-fungible token nonsense. Andrew, you want to take a stab at it?
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to know? Okay, non-fungible token. Do you understand like the blockchain? Do you understand that it's something that is going to exist on a certain ecosystem in a certain environment? So let's say this non-fungible token, right, exists on the Ethereum network. You're going to be able to transfer it within different custodial wallets or different, wallets where you're owning these, assets, right? These digital assets within a particular chain. Sometimes you can cross chain them. Usually they're stuck on that chain. So if it's on Bitcoin, it's on Bitcoin. If it's on Ethereum, it's on Ethereum. And in this case, if it's on Facebook, it's very likely it'll be on Facebook. Now, these can be pieces of art. People make fun of them because there are these ridiculous low quality, like 8-bit images that sell for literally hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions of dollars, just literally JPEGs, right? That there's a limited number of, not just one, usually there's like 100 of them or maybe 5 of them or 20 of them, but just like high-end artwork, they'll sell for a lot of money, right? And you can make the same argument that high-end artwork, is really just a scheme to, funnel drug money. I've heard that one. That's a good one. But non-fungible tokens, are like high-end artwork, right? If you assign that value to it, you assign that value to it. But they can also be used for gaming assets, right? So let's say you have a skin.
That's the easiest way for me to understand it.
If you have a skin, for example, I just made some money and then promptly dropped it into the Japan, with gaming assets in the, NFT world. So let's say you have a special type of character. Let's say you're playing an RPG and it's World of Warcraft, right? And you have like the ultra strong orc skin, right? And it gives you, +5 to strength, right? You're able to actually go and sell that to somebody else. Or if you have some sort of item, you can sell that to somebody else and they can now use that, right? And it might be a unique or rare item that you can sell and actually make money off that. And as Alita was saying, and I interrupted her because it doesn't have to be this way, but right now for major blockchains like Ethereum, you can do this. If you're able to sell those products, you can convert that to real world money, right? And you can actually live off that, right? Which was the great point that she was making about artists are normally starving, but now they don't have to be because they can create these things, they can sell them, and they can actually make a decent living, a great living actually, doing this online. And there's lots of people that are doing it nowadays.
Yeah. And another way of I guess sort of just as an example, like if you've seen Ready Player One, the Zemeckis cube would be an NFT. That's how that would be tracked, that there could only be one and that, only the one that technically owns it can use it. So.
Oh, and by the way, because it's on the blockchain, it's also like accessible for other people to see. So they can technically, if you, through cryptography or looking through the wallet to see at least which wallet owns it. That may not be tied to a particular person, but they can see which wallet owns what. So it is public.
Yeah. And he has a follow-up question. Can I just take a picture of an NFT work of
because
art?
it won't have the same. It won't have the same cryptography embedded. Now you could create a similar one and try to sell it, right? But once again, good luck. The people that make money are making these as parts of sets. They've gotten themselves kind of promoted through different mechanisms. So
yeah, I don't
your
really
JPEG isn't going to make hundreds of thousands.
I don't really see the long-term viability, to be quite honest, because I don't think it's comparable to, for example, the Mona Lisa and a picture of the Mona Lisa, because you just don't get the same fidelity. But the problem with like an NFT, if you have a JPEG and you make a copy of the JPEG, I mean, it won't be the NFT, but you have a perfectly faithful, full fidelity copy. So what's the difference from your point of view? It's as good as the original.
No,
so
it's not, because there's literally no cryptography on the JPEG, right? So your JPEG is just
right. So it's not
the.
So you're right. It's not the original. It's not the authentic one. Right. But if I'm, displaying it in my house or whatever the equivalent would be, it's as good as the original in every possible way. So it would satisfy whatever artistic desire I have. I mean, if I could have an exact replica of the Mona Lisa sitting in my home, then that would be great, right? Because then I have an exact replica sitting in my home. And
well, you could make a replica, right? You could make a replica, right? You could have somebody just physically create a replica of the Mona Lisa, like paint.
I'm not sure you could ever get it perfect, and that's
but I've also seen some people sell.
I see your point.
I've also seen some people trying to sell NFTs of like Mario and Luigi and things like that. That I've already been like, whoa, what are the copyright issues here? Where it's like people might think that this is being a trademark and copyright. People might think that this is being sold by Nintendo, or this is also a Nintendo product. So there's issues like that so far that I've already seen which is just kind of part of the nature of having a decentralized way of developing this kind of stuff. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how that all kind of shakes out in the long run.